All
Well,
right.
welcome to the very first little dev stream we're going to be doing here. This is going to be a bit of a different format than many of the other dev streams I've seen, so not so much live programming or stuff like that. This is more going to be just the more talking about what we've done and showing it off and kind of explaining our workflow and process. And in that regard, it's not going to be as boring, hopefully, as watching a dude sit and program for 6 hours. So with me right now is Baritone Fox. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Baritone Fox.
All right. Well, fantastic. Baritone wears a lot of hats around the dev team, but he is probably foremost at the moment our lead modeler and animator. Of course, we did have that new recruit just recently who is doing exceptional work, but today we're going to be showing off a bit more of Fox's work here. So, first and foremost here is the Hydrock. And Baritone's actually put together a little video time lapse on the Hydrock. But why don't you tell us a bit about this creature, Fox?
Well, yeah, it's kind of just like kind of our take on a sort of ent type idea. So just that idea of the living tree. Something with New Eden is we wanted to try stepping away a little bit from that kind of anthropomorphic feel, where everything's got to have kind of arms and legs and human qualities. So there is actually a little bit of influence from a bacteriophage, which is something you can look up on Google. It's just like a type of microorganism. Um, so yeah, the idea is this guy is he was just a tree, and then he somehow got this crystal stuck in his trunk, and kind of bloomed up some consciousness in it, and it started growing all these weird faces and a big old clawed hand and everything. So hopefully he should be a fun guy to fight. The animation is probably about like halfway done at this point, so hopefully he'll be getting into the game pretty soon.
Yeah. Now that the animation work for something that's not a humanoid, that's probably much harder, right?
Yeah, it's quite difficult. Like with a human character, you have the reference of your own body that you kind of know where your weight is going to be and where you're moving and everything. But something like this, um, you can't really even find a reference for motion on something like this because it's so such a strange shape and such a strange weight distribution, especially. So he was he's been quite a challenge, but I think it's turning out well in the end. It's hard to see now watching the time lapse, but I think
Well,
the
we could
video
definitely,
stops and it shows kind of more in real time after a while. We'll also be
yeah,
posting this video just on its own on YouTube. If you want to take a closer look at this sort of thing and how much kind of work goes in. Like with
absolutely.
the time lapse, like this video, I think it's comes out to like 15 or 20 minutes, but that's like
It's like 20x
around
speed.
yeah, it's like 6 hours of work or something like that, and I just did 3 animations for it. So it's
Yeah.
obviously a time-consuming thing, but it's definitely worth it for just to get more unique play experiences in the.
Absolutely. And now, as we did say, the full video of this time lapse, along with Dylan's intro, there will be going up on our YouTube channel. And then for this enemy here, we want this in the garden, correct?
Yeah, he's gonna be. Can we talk much about the new map?
I think we might as well. We do we
Yeah.
tease a little bit right now, even.
Yeah, right there you can see it. We've got a big expansion of the map coming. Obviously, you can see some changes in the colors that we're choosing.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the big features of this new map is going to be a little more in terms of like secrets and explorations. So we'll have like a little kind of sub area where this guy kind of hiding out. And so kind of thing where you could probably play the game and avoid them altogether if you didn't like the idea of a challenge. But then if you really want that extra gear and those extra levels and everything, and you got some friends to take them on with, then you can search a little bit and find them and have yeah, just a fun little bit of extra lore and gameplay.
Fantastic. And now you guys might hear some background noises from in-game. I actually have 2 monitors set up here, so I'm going to be showing off some stuff in the game in just a bit here. But for now, it is worth noting that towards the end here, we get a full view of... Well, here, I'll play this clip here for us. Now, this is actually rendered in Blender, if I'm correct, yeah?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay, so in-game we'll actually have lighting applied to it, and it will look probably a bit more crisp, a bit more clean, and more consistent with the actual in-game graphics.
Have a shadow too.
Yeah.
That when I made my Blender render.
Yeah. Now, actually, when I showed my girlfriend this clip here, the one thing she brought up was like, is that like just walking down, or is that a slam, or what's going on there? And I was like, okay, yeah, well, we will have a shadow for that to show a bit of depth there, right? But yeah, well, fantastic. So that covers the Hydrock enemy type, and that will hopefully be coming next update. It's actually quite, as you can probably tell, it's a huge amount of work, but Fox has been doing that very, very well. Next up here, we have on the list here to go over leveling. Now, leveling was actually just introduced with this update here. So I'm actually just going to switch my sources here, and we'll put it on New Eden itself. Now, as you can tell, we actually have a new in-game user interface, or GUI. Now, this is probably going to be redone at some point, but this is the general layout we'd like to stick to. One of the big criticisms is was having the vitals up in the top corner here. It kind of took your eye off the combat, right? So that kind of took away from the experience when you had to keep on darting your eyes back up to see, okay, what's my life at even, right? So we kind of centralized that down here. And you can see I have a little 0 here with that symbol. And that is actually the room for Prana. Now, as you can see, Eru is playing here at the moment. Now, this Prana confluence here, means somebody has died right here. And I don't think I can pick this up. I can do that part, so I'm going to have to fix that. But it doesn't give me any of the extra prana that they dropped. Whereas when the person who died picked it up, let's see if they grab it here. Oh, I think that is I think that is Eru's, but yeah, so you can get that prana recovered message. I'll have to fix that up. There was a lot of stuff this update, so unfortunately some bugs did slip through. I'm sorry about that. But for that, once you pick it up, if this is your prana mark and you died and you pick that up, then it will return your prana that you lost. Up right now, when you die, you lose 66% essentially of your stored prana, which is essentially your experience, right? So that is what that little bar in the middle there is for. So I'm just going to go up to the dream shard really quick, and leveling takes place at these dream shards as well. So we're just going to click level up. Now, I need 709 prana to consume it and level up. Unfortunately, I don't have that at the moment, but if we did have it, we can actually open our inventory here, or just our menu, and you'd notice a bright little plus sign around here, and your points would be over 0, and that way you can allocate to which stat you'd prefer, right? And we do have the tooltips now as well. That took a long time to get in there, but those are in there now as well. And something else you might notice in our menu here is all these new sprites, or icons, images, right? Now, not all of them are finished at the moment, but we do have quite a few of them that are now finished in this nice new style here. Now, Nihus, the artist responsible for this, he actually, I think he just pulled an all-nighter the other night there, getting as many of these done as he could for this update. So I'm sure within the next few days we'll actually have all items finished there if he keeps up with the same tenacity. But for now, a lot of them that will be in the next update's main portion of the game are finished. And one other thing that was highly requested that we did manage to get in is our inventory sorting. Now, for the sorting here, this was actually hugely requested because right now, without sorting, right, it's just kind of all a mess, right? So I have all my weapons, armors, gauntlets, all that, all in one area. It can get kind of messy, hey? But now I can actually organize them into like, oh, okay, I just want to see the weapons. I just want to see the offhands. In this case, I don't have any. I just want to see the helmets I have, stuff like that, right? So that helps us just kind of keep everything a bit more organized, and hopefully, people will be a bit easier going with the inventory management. There is probably some more work to do, so if you guys do have any suggestions, be sure to let us know. But that is for the most part what was finished in this update. There was a lot of other stuff that we kind of touched on, but not all of it was completely finished. But a big majority of major systems were kind of wrapped up in this update, and we hope to expand on those with the next couple updates here. Speaking of which, the next update is going to be a huge content update. Now, Fox actually helped map the area that is going to be the replacement for the area we have in game now. What would you say is like the scale of that compared to what we have right now? How much surface area do you think there is compared?
It is probably at least twice as big, maybe a little more. It's kind of hard to tell. It's mostly the like the path you can currently take through the level is still basically intact, and then we've added about like an extra 100% of the total square footage probably. Like a good example would be like the waterfall that you can see kind of in the corner of the screen when you're right at the starting area by the big tree. Like that is like explorable now, or will be soon. So it's very exciting. Very exciting update coming up.
Oh, I can't wait. I just wish it didn't take so much work, but
Yeah.
we'll definitely get there. Yeah. So yeah, the next update is actually going to be incredibly massive. We're going to have a bunch of new enemy types, a bunch of new items, a bunch of new explorable regions, a bit more structured. Because right now, our main purpose of these early builds is kind of test out our systems, make sure that everything's working as intended, right? And even just earlier in this little stream there, we found one of the bugs, so that should be fixed before too long. But that's exactly what these little builds are for, right? But yeah, so after we've covered a bit of leveling, now there is a bit more nuance and depth to it, but I would encourage people to just kind of play the game and test it out if you guys wanted to see a bit more of that. Next up on our little list, we actually have music. Now, the music of New Eden is pretty insane, right? We actually have a contract with Parabang Records. I think that's how you pronounce it. If it's not, I'm sorry, guys. But so Parabang Records are these two incredibly talented musicians, and they're actually crafting something I can find like completely unique to New Eden. What would you say are like the biggest sources of inspiration from your point of view there, Fox?
From my point of view, I don't know. I think, like you said, it is pretty unique. One thing I personally really like about it is there's an interesting balance between kind of the more synthy, like classic video game sounds, and kind of with more modern instrumentations, having a little bit more capacity for like bass and like kind of smooth string sounds and everything like that. Even the music we have, like the tracks all have kind of a different feel to them, but all still kind of put things together. I know we've been looking at a lot of I think we were sharing some like world music influences from like some different things. Like I know we were kind of geeking out over like some Asian styles and like Mongolian throat singing and stuff like that. So I know a lot of fun stuff is coming through, and we're trying not to just do like a rip off of like a Final Fantasy soundtrack or something like that, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, exactly. It's something I find personally kind of reminiscent of a mix of like Metroid and almost some Chrono Trigger mixed in with those classical fantasy stuff, like Final
Yeah,
Fantasy, but not as generic, right? Like it's.
definitely some Chrono Trigger in there for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'll go ahead and really quickly play a little clip of one of their tracks that is actually now in game. We actually have Angkor Rem, the first boss of the game and the only boss in the game right now that you can play against. That he has his own theme now, and it's we actually added some nice new audio blending to it. So instead of like kind of playing immediately as you start a boss fight, it will fade in. It will also fade out if you kill the boss or you die to the boss. But here, I'll go ahead and play that just a bit. And there is a bit of build up, but I don't want to spoil the entire thing here, so I'm just gonna cut to the drop, as they say. All right. So if you guys want to hear the whole thing, you can actually go fight Angkor Rem right now and try to stay alive, because Angkor Rem actually got a big buff this update. Maybe not too large, but some more gameplay buff orients. So now in his 3-hit combos, he actually kind of rotates in place there as well, so you can't just dodge through the first one and miss all of them. Again, we might change this so he can only rotate a certain amount in either way, right? But for right now, we're going to have it where he can just kind of rotate the entire way. He has a bit more health. He does a bit more damage on some of his attacks. Some of his attacks are also fixed up a bit so they don't do just crazy damage without being, I guess, easily readable. I had some missed timings in there when I was making the attacks earlier. And obviously not at all the fault of Fox here, who actually animated Angkor Rem. But yeah, so Angkor is much more engaging now, especially that music when it kicks in. It's pretty cool. I actually don't have a character on the cusp of fighting him at the moment, so you'll probably have to take my word for it. But yeah, it is getting much closer to finishing those areas of the game. Now I'm actually going to log in back into the game here. But we actually changed a bit with Prana as well. Luck. So Luck beforehand was just another scaling stat. And this meant that our... that it kind of only affected certain aspects of scaling and such, right? So, if I had a bow, it did a bit more damage when it had higher luck, right? So, for instance, the Assassin's Bow here has a C scaling and luck. Now, however, if you check our little handy tooltip, luck increases the likelihood of enemies dropping their loot, which just means higher drop rates for those of you who only speak MMO in the audience here. But, yeah, so... It also increases your magical defense by a slight amount, not as much as something like Courage would reflect on your physical defense. We also have a new little menu here that shows your overall stats as well, so you don't have to go hunting around or doing math on the fly to get those. But, so the aspect of luck changing item drops, we didn't want it to be, okay, if you're going to be farming a boss for a while, you're going to have to dump 20 points in luck to get that rare drop, right? So it's not that effectual against items that we market not to be effectual with. So, for instance, if we want a super rare raid item to be rare for everybody, not just the people that don't have 20-30 points in luck, right? We can mark it like that in engine, and then we won't have to include that the luck scaling for item drops for those types of things. Now, for overall, with luck there. It's still, I think it's one of the more fun stats to play around with. We're also going to have it affect certain status ailments. So if you're using something like a poison blade or something like that, we can have luck influence that the likelihood of something happening like that, right? But again, we don't want to go too crazy with it. But yeah. So for that, I think we're nearing the end of our list. We didn't have too much today. We kind of just wanted to test out this format and see what everybody thinks about it. We will be uploading this onto YouTube as well, of course. But as a little mention aside here, Fox and I have actually been talking with I think who we've decided to go with as a community manager. Did you have anything to say on that front, Fox?
Well, not much. Just that I'm excited to get a little bit of support because I know we love talking to all you guys, and we try and make a point to be as active on the server as possible. But every minute that we spend answering some questions or engaging too much is a minute that we could be making new assets for the game and everything. So it's not like we'll just disappear. We'll obviously be still trying to make a point to appear on there and answer your questions, and especially the feedback. You guys have been all giving us such great feedback and everything. We'll definitely still be around for that, but it will be nice to just have somebody who will be able to give you guys more content and stay a little bit more frequent with all the updates and showing things off and everything. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we hope to have a bit more news on that front in the very, very near future as well for you all. But just know that it is in the works, and we will hopefully have our official community manager in place here in just a bit. Now, one last thing. It was added to the list just a bit previous. Now, I don't know if you have anything ready to show for it at the moment, Fox, but we did want to talk about guns, correct?
Yeah, just technically, I don't know how I would display them on your stream here.
Yeah. Now, for anybody wondering, this is my first time streaming anything at all. So if it is a bit clunky, I apologize for that. If we do continue these, I will for sure put some time investment into those. I guess.
If you have some of those old GIFs.
Oh, you know what? I think I do. I'm just gonna open those up on via Discord, and I'll put them onto the other monitor. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Let's see if I can.
I'll look too, just in case I can.
Yeah. But so, New Eden is a somewhat sci-fi fantasy setting, correct? So, we do have bows, but we're also going to have guns, right? But it's not going to be like AK-47s. Yeah. So we're still going to have a very fantasy element for that. We're thinking possibly even having them as like a crystal-based source, perhaps, right? For ammunition and such. But, oh, you know what? I think I actually have one of the ready animations. So we every weapon type actually has its own draw and sheath animations, painstakingly crafted by Fox and our new recruit, Quino. I never know how to pronounce his
real
alias.
name is Joaquin, so we can go with
okay,
that.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, fantastic. And so here's one clip of some guns in action. Now we do have two major types. Actually, I shouldn't even say that. We have quite a few major types of guns. So here's another one. This is a reload animation for something like an LMG almost, right?
Yeah, something like that, or a big fat cannon.
Mm-hmm. And here is one for like a shotgun type, right?
Yeah.
I love the little slide in there of the sheath, right, where it pops up. Oh, that's good. And we're also going to have an in-game like clip fall out of it, right, or shells or stuff like that.
Yeah, like you can kind of see some of it there with some of the the magazine kind of just disappearing. We'll obviously animate that in the game, and then like the model of the weapon right now is obviously the same one as you saw in the previous animation. So we're gonna have more like these are kind of placeholders right now, just to get the animations down and kind of test how we wanted to kind of arrange the animations and the gameplay and everything. But now that that is all at least mostly done, we'll have to see how it plays and everything like that. But we
Yeah.
can start making some more art for it and everything, and that will get pretty exciting.
Oh, fantastic. Now, we do have some actual new concept art as well. So, I'm not sure if we did show these yet. Have we?
I'm not sure. I don't know which ones.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
The new spears.
Yeah, that one's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I like that one. I'm gonna make some new Blender stuff for that one.
Yeah, so a lot of our models in game right now that we actually pixelize. I'm not sure. We pixelate in real time. They actually have what you would call blend shapes, I suppose, right?
Yeah, nomenclature changes, but that's one of them.
Yeah. All right. So these actually allow us to use the same model and just change some values within those models and get entirely new shapes. Now, Fox was actually the one that implemented all this, so big credit to him, but it allows us to save as much space as possible. So we keep performance high, but we also have literally thousands and thousands of iterations that we can get from the same model of a weapon, right? So one of my big things about a lot of action games is, or any games with paper dolls or whatnot, if you have like a sword, almost every other sword is going to look the same, right? Like I find that a lot in video games. Not too much anymore, but especially back in the day, where like especially game types like what New Eden is trying to be, where you'd have like one sword. Oh, okay, the color is different. That's about it. But in New Eden, we can actually change. Okay, I'm gonna have this blade be a bit curved. Maybe it's gonna have a bigger hilt here. Maybe it's gonna have a big gem on the pommel. Stuff like that, right? But yeah,
Yeah, it also could potentially open up some fun options for crafting in the future as well. No promises
absolutely.
there, because that's a little bit down the line, but it's there's a lot of potential for a lot of kind of modular stuff going on with the way we've organized it. So it's very cool.
For sure. Now I will show off one more thing before we get going here. This is actually from actually here if I can copy this. Let's see. Oh, it's gonna open up in Epic 4 Player here. So I'll just grab that and move it over if I can. So obviously you can tell we're experts at this. We know exactly what we're doing the entire time. But
We're game developers, we're not streamers.
yeah. um, okay, there we go. All right, so this is some work from our newest recruit there. Now I'm not sure if you can make out this full shape here, but that's actually a great axe. So we're gonna have some really big like just big gritty weapon types to play with soon as well. We have the gray swords, but we want a few more options in that department as well. But yeah. So I think that's about it for this little stream here. If you guys do like these, if you guys would like us to see, or like to see us kind of polish these up and continue approaching this kind of aspect of communication or like sharing our process with you, be sure to let us know. Of course, we like doing stuff for the community like this. We'll also, of course, have this up on YouTube soon, so anybody that missed it will be able to tune into that as well. And yeah, fantastic. Thank you all for tuning in if you guys were here live. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for checking it out. We'll have links to both the game and our Discord in the description as well. But yeah, thank you very much. Did you have any closing remarks there, Fox?
No, not really. I think we covered everything else. There's not too many people here, so probably not a lot of questions or anything yet. So
Yeah. Now,
yeah.
one thing we'd like to also explore, or at least I would like to explore in the future, is if we do continue with these streams, we'll actually have our voice chat going on in our community Discord. It will be a staff-only channel, but if we do have like a user that has a question, we can actually just drag them into the voice chat and have them ask it live, so we don't have to attach chat or anything for reference when we post it onto YouTube or anything like that. Or if people are uncomfortable with that, we can also just, of course, put it up in text and whatnot. But yeah, well, fantastic. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. This is Skyward River and Baritone Fox, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, thank you so much. See you later.
All right.